Hey everybody, and welcome back to Tom Clancy's Central. My name is Retro, and today I actually wanted to go into a different video, nothing news related, but more discussing what I believe that Ghost Recon Wildlands could learn from a game franchise like Destiny. Because obviously Destiny 2, having the trailer released really recently, there's tons of hype building up around the game, and it would lead one to believe that Bungie of course would attempt to fix some of their problems with the first title. And for those that haven't played the game, and I haven't played it in a good 2 years, I still feel as if the game did have potential. There was something really good about Destiny, and again, it really wasn't kindled, it wasn't quite tapped into, but there was a really good amount of potential for that game. Considering it is such a highly invested franchise, having millions and millions of dollars spent on its development, I believe there is something that Ghost Recon Wildlands could really learn based off of the good things and the bad things that the Destiny franchise has done so far and probably will or won't do in Destiny 2. So the first thing that I really noticed, and this was Destiny's biggest flaw for anyone who's even played it or anyone who's simply heard of it, it was pretty obvious that the game was not worth $60. It wasn't. There was a bare bones amount of content. You could finish the game within 3 or 4 hours, and the PvP, the Crucible, was unbelievably basic, and I'm going to get to that in a little while. But the thing is, with this game, it was a $60 purchase that really didn't feel worth it. Now, Ghost Recon Wildlands I felt was pretty close, but it still felt a little slim on the content. Most of the missions felt kind of the same. There really wasn't enough appeal in the side missions, such as stopping the convoys, all that other stuff. There really wasn't quite much of an appeal in doing all that stuff. There really was no reason to, because all you had to do really was just go and pick fights with people. That was about it. There really wasn't much, I guess, invested into those side missions. And that's why I think a lot of people put the game down after the first month of playing it. I haven't touched it in a couple weeks, simply because there's nothing for me to do. I didn't want to waste my money on the scam of Narco Road, I just didn't. So I decided, hey, I'm going to take a break from it, I'm going to do other stuff, and I haven't even played video games in around a month, honestly. So in my opinion, you should definitely, by all means, not sell us a game that is worth something less than $60, because we're paying $60 for it. And by that, I mean the PvP must be free. Now, I'm assuming it is, and I believe that, of course, Ubisoft would give it to us as just an update, but you never know. It takes one greedy person to go and suggest, hey, why don't we sell PvP? It takes one greedy person to do that, and then everything changes. So by all means, I think PvP should definitely be free. It'll bring people back to this game without having to pour more money into it. Again, if you've bought all the DLC, you're already $75 down the drain. Then with Fallen Ghosts, that's $90. And then if they're gonna sell PvP, oh my god, man, forget about it. And you know, the campaign, it just didn't feel like there was enough, honestly. So that's the way I feel when it comes to that. Now, going back to Crucible, like I discussed, it had a seemingly low skill gap at first, but over time, they did evolve it and change it and make it more competitive. And this is something that Overwatch did as well when the game first came out. It was competitive, it didn't have any competitive ranking, but games that kind of fall under that category, it definitely compensates for a seemingly amount of low content, because Overwatch was a basic game. On the surface, of course. There was no class customization, there wasn't much character customization, and it didn't really feel like that full of a game until you really understood the competitive aspect of it and the way it worked. And unfortunately, the competitive mode was added just after I pretty much put the game down and resigned. That's pretty much the reason, at least for me, why I stopped playing Overwatch. I just got tired of it. I didn't feel like playing for no reason. And then once they added the competitive, I was already long done and had moved on to something else. And I feel like a lot of people are already lost on Ghost Recon Wildlands. They finished the campaign, some people maybe traded it in, returned it, they're done. I would assume a lot of people are simply finished with the game entirely. Yet, for me at least, I don't want to quite give up on it yet, because I think there's a lot of potential. We built this channel around it. I think the game has a lot of potential, and I was actually looking forward to it quite a lot before it came out, and I still don't feel that the game has fully launched yet. I just don't. So if the PvP is good, if it's competitive, and we have a reason to play it, I do feel as if the game could definitely be saved in the long run, and would help out a lot of us players, giving us something to do, something to work towards, and something to look forward to. Because Destiny at first only had those 4 modes, and eventually over time it expanded upon it, and the skill gap increased with new weapons and abilities being added later on. That's what kind of gave Destiny that flair. And Ghost Recon Wildlands, I'm concerned, won't have that flair, just like The Division didn't. It was decent. You could play survival for a little while or go into that giant arena, the dark zone. It was decent. It was a good concept. It just didn't quite have that longevity. It didn't last like it should have. Simply because most people just didn't kind of feel compelled enough to play it. They just didn't. After playing it for a little while, they got bored. They weren't working towards much. Maybe getting some new gear, that's about it. They really weren't working towards much. And it wasn't emphasized in a way where people wanted to go back and play it. Where Destiny had a social circle. It had that area in the middle. For anyone who's played Destiny or seen it, where everybody can go and mingle and join parties and talk. And there you have all the weapon vendors and stuff, and Xur comes every Friday and sells new weapons. It gives people a reason to put their disc in every Friday night. So it's one of those things like, it's engaging people, and in 2017, you have to engage people in some other way than just a basic campaign. Maybe 20 years ago on the PlayStation, the Nintendo 64, the original Xbox, maybe Ghost Recon Wildlands would be acceptable in its current state. But now, in 2017, when more than anything, interaction and online connectivity is the most important, Ghost Recon Wildlands really falls flat in that area. Again, of course you could play with people, but that's about it. Besides joining sessions, there really isn't much else to do. There's no social area where you can meet with other people. There really isn't anything that compels people enough to put that disc back in every time and play it after they've finished it. Because I'm like a level like 25, I'm pretty much finished with the base game. Then they're going to sell us Narco Road where you have to restart all over again, and Fallen Ghosts, which I presume you will have to restart on a new profile again. Just sounds dumb to me, and I think they're making quite a few errors, and I do believe if they did kind of base themselves off of some of Destiny's mistakes, some of Destiny's successes, obviously, like I discussed in this video, I think they'll be better off. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you guys did, definitely go ahead and drop a like. Let us know down below in the comments what you think about this type of video format. It's a little different than what we've normally done, obviously, but I am looking forward to doing some more discussion videos. But I think it is interesting and might, engage a little bit more in the comments and things like that. Instead of just some news videos all the time, maybe we'll throw some of these in here and there. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you guys did, definitely go ahead and drop a like. My name is Retro, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.